Welcome back to another Tech Tip Tuesday. Today we're going to be looking at Microsoft Forms paired with Power Automate and how that can all fit into our leads pipeline. So what you do is you just come to your apps. Under apps you get all apps, takes you to something like this, and you'll just find Forms, click it, and it will bring you here. You'll just go new forms. I've started mine here, SE leads, which I can just open. And then automatically it starts with, right, make a question. Quick start with make a question. So I want text. Company name is probably a good place to start. I want it to be required because I want to know who I'm dealing with. Do they fit into my ideal customer profile, for example? We'll go then your name. Again, required would be helpful. Contact details, again required, otherwise how do we continue in touch, staying in touch. And then here what we can do is if we go choice, we can give them checklist items. So my services, M365 solutions, if I spell it correctly that normally helps, maybe a Google backup, M365 backup. I can add an other option. You can let people select multiple so they turn to squares to help you understand that. You can have the options get shuffled, or I could just do this as text. I could just go, please describe the services you're looking for help with. So what I'll do is I'll leave both in because it's just a demo, and we can see how this can help us later. But you can set the style, the layout, how you want things to appear. You can upload your own background, your own colors and everything like that. So you get even background music. So it's quite handy and quite good how you can design your own form. You can even then preview it, see what it will look like with all your changes, and even on a phone as well. So if we go back, settings, I want anyone to be able to fill in this form. I want to be able to accept responses, but you can set start and end dates or a timer. You can shuffle all the questions. You get quite a few options here. And then when you make it public and send the link out, then you can see how responses are coming in here, and it'll give you a spreadsheet. But because this is a leads form, what we actually want to do is we wanted to get it to lists. So list has its own forms that we can use, but these will all just be for internal people. We won't be able to make that publicly accessible. That's why we've made it from the forms page itself. So now we just need to go and connect them up. So let me delete what I've made here. And also this one. So we just start from scratch, and we're going to do an automated cloud flow. So SE leads form to list, and we're going to do this off when a new response is submitted in Microsoft Forms. So we just click that and create. Then it gives us this. We come in, we just double check it's doing it under the right account. Then we pick a form. So I want SE leads that I've just made. If I click off, it just stays as it is. Sometimes you get more options when you click off the first one. But all this is doing is it's going to trigger when the form gets filled in. That's all it's going to do. So what we need to do is we just search forms. We need to get response details. And then from what form? Well, obviously the one we've picked up above. But if it uses the right email, it works better. So from the form we've just made, SE leads, and the response ID. So we get, when we click in there, we get given these two buttons. FX gives us like the option to create a function, just like you would in Excel. Similar kind of context, you get your function and put the rest in brackets. But we're going to actually want the lightning bolt. And what that means is it pulls from earlier in the flow. So we want the ID of the form that was submitted recently that's started this flow. And then it puts it in there. If we click off, it leaves it as it is again. So now we've got those responses from the latest form. If we search list, then in SharePoint, because lists are a part of SharePoint, we can go create item. And again, from here, we pick our relevant team, our relevant list. I want SE leads. And then you'll see it gives us some, it will automatically populate. So these are required, so it's forcing us to fill these in because on the list, we've maybe forced them to be required. So contact name is, we want this to be your name from the form, and then contact email will be contact details, and then we can get rid of, we leave that on no, so automatically default to no, which is what we want because it's a new lead. But then what other fields we want to populate? Company, maybe temp value and notes. So company, again in the lightning, we then just go company name. Temp value, I'm going to set to hot because they've come to me. They've maybe seen my website, interested in the services I offer. So they're a hot lead. And then notes, services interested in. We can type that will always be set as it is like that. But then we can populate in there as well. Please describe the services you're looking for help with. Great, so we'll save that. That will just take a second. And then before we test that, what we're going to do is we're going to make a second flow. So automated, so SE new lead. When an item is created, and I'll explain why we're doing two separate ones in a second. So again, when an item is created in our leads list, we want to create, if I can spell it, a planner task. So we'll go create a task, group ID, as before, solutions library, plan ID, pipeline, and the title is, I'm going to go new lead, so it's nice and clear, and then I'm going to click that to get company. So slightly different to when we kicked off from a form submission, is it's already grabbed the item details of the new item that was added. Remember in the other one we had to specifically get the form responses. So we'll just grab that, and then what we can do here is where we set the checklist, we could use that. So if they ticked M365 solutions, we could have it automatically populate the correct labels based on the colors we've assigned here. So like for pink, I could set pink, and then I can work out a formula to say if M365 solutions was selected, then this is true, and it would assign pink. But I don't have time for that because I only get 15 minutes for a video with LinkedIn. So let me just make that a little bit neater. What else can we fill in? Start date, don't really want that. I could assign a due date where it sets it to exactly a week or 2 days for a new lead. I want to follow up quite quick. While they're still interested, I could set priority to high by default. So you can see here, one is urgent. So if I set 1, we'll see that come as urgent. But what we'll then do next is we'll go planner, update a task V2, I believe it was. Nope. I always get it wrong on the first try. It's like plugging in a USB. Planner. We want update task details. Task ID, again, custom value. So we get the little menu, doesn't show up great on my screen. We get the lightning, and we get the ID from the task before. And then here we want to add checklists. So ID, we're going to start from 1 because it's computers, they start at 1 to 19. You can have 20 checklist items per planner task. And the title will be arrange 1-to-1 call, and is checked. I want to be no, so that I know I need to do it. And then maybe our second one will be send white papers, again false, and maybe we just want to include something like send contract, just as a third task there. But what I'm going to do before I save this and test is I want to actually add a last step, and I think this gets overlooked quite a bit by people, is I want to actually post a message to Teams when there's a new lead that's been submitted. So we look for something about post a message in chat or channel. Post as user, I want it as GoBot. Otherwise it will just post as the generic flow, but I like to use the actual account. So once we pick channel, it will give us the rest of the details to fill in. So my solutions library, my mini CRM, and then I'll go new lead, please action accordingly, company, and then we pick the lightning and we'll get company from the list and contact, and then we'll just get their name, contact name. So you can give it a subject, you can give a host of bits, you can make certain bits bold, so make it a bit, maybe it can stand out. You can put headers in, bullet points, links. You can see it as HTML, all of these, just to make it clearer that it's a new item being added. So we'll save that, and then when we come back to our form, we'll click collect responses. I want anyone to respond, and I'll get, because if you choose these ones, then only internal people can to your company, to your 365 tenant can respond. So we'll copy link and we'll open it here. So company name, ask Jeeves, your name, I don't know what his first name is, Trevor Jeeves, and then Jeeves at butler.com. Again, my typing is not up to par, and I'm interested in that and that, and I will, that makes sense, let's just do that. Want to back up M365 and some automations, submit. So that's been added to the form. If we come back here, we can view responses. So I can open them in Excel. I can see I've got one, it takes about 40 seconds. It just gives you a nice overview. We'll come and refresh the list. Then we see here, it's red because of our settings last week. There's no follow-up, I need to do that. But it's got all the information in the right column from the form. And then if we come to our pipeline, it may have already run, can take a second to kick off. We'll hopefully shortly, I didn't pick a bucket in the Power Automate, I just realized. Priority 1, bucket ID, shouldn't, pipeline. Yeah, put it in the wrong one, but that's fine. Show more. Pipeline. Then there's my Ask Jeeves. It's gone into no bucket because I forgot to set that, but it's got the checklist items that I set before with the Ask Jeeves urgent. I could have assigned it to someone by default, maybe to triage all new leads or something. And then if we come to our teams, then see all under solutions library, mini CRM. Here we go, new lead, please action accordingly, company Ask Jeeves, contact Trevor Jeeves. So you get a nice rounded automation. Someone's filled in a form, added to my lead list, added to my pipeline, and then I can manage it all from there and get on top of them. So again, just like we had there, but this is when we're starting to get really useful with the tools that, again, we're already paying for all of this with our standard 365 licenses. So if that was helpful, let us know, and what else you maybe would like to see as well.